Okay, last game, and obviously this video is not going to do justice to this game because this game's too hard to figure out, but too bad. I had to look at it. It was played yesterday, and basically 85% of the game is prep. Then the last 15% was pretty well played. And Hikaru said he prepared this a year or two ago, but didn't get a chance to play it. And Jan said he thinks he prepared this for one of the World Championship matches, but he has to remember from years ago. So they played a Petrov. They played a ton of theory. So when I played the Petrov with black, which I used to do, the theory 30, 35 years ago was bishop g4. And I've played bishop g4. Now the theory is bishop f5. I've never played bishop f5, but that's the modern theory. Okay, so queen b3. And this is a famous game that Jan won with black, I think against Rapport maybe. And you can't take the pawn on b7 because bishop takes h2 check wins the queen. Basically, the players are blitzing out these moves. It's all prep. Now, if you play king takes knight, bishop takes g3 check, and queen takes queen. And white wanted to avoid knight takes d3, so he sacrifices on h7. Then he takes the rook. At least he gets a pawn for his trouble. Knight h3 check. This is all prep. Both players are playing very quickly. Queen b7. The engine agrees with all these moves. You can see that Hikaru knows the theory better. He's looked at it more recently because he has more time on his clock. But still, we're on move 20, and Jan's only taken half an hour, so he knows it too. Okay, now my engine says that black should play king g8 here instead of bishop f5. And that actually makes some sense because he played king g8 like a couple moves later. So, okay, queen f1. And this is still in Hikaru's prep. The engine likes g5 better to play g4. So white's up an exchange and a pawn, but white's position looks terrible. But he's up the exchange and a pawn. So. Yeah, and in this position, knight g1 and a4, the engine moves. Knight g1's fine. And I was surprised here because I was watching the game, and black played a move I didn't expect. He played king g8, although the engine isn't a big fan of that move. Okay, and now it says knight df3 is the best move, and Hikaru's out of prep now. He played queen e2 after thinking a while. Knight e4. This is still fine. And in this position, it says white has a slight advantage by taking the knight on h3. But he played a4. He wants to play rook a3 and get his rook into the game. And Hikaru said he missed what black did. So after knight takes h3, the engine's saying white's better by like 0.5. So maybe white has winning chances up the exchange and a pawn, even though his position looks suspect. If black can't break through, eventually white's going to be up material. And after a4, black has more than one good move, but Nepo forced the draw by calculating really far ahead. And he played queen g6 is also okay, but he played bishop takes g3 because this opens up the white king and has a very forcing variation. Takes, knight f4 check, we have to take, queen here check. The reason we sacrificed our bishop is we don't want the pawn on h2 to defend g3. So for example, if I sack right away without sacking the bishop, g3 is covered. So I can play king f1 or king h1 and I'm winning. So that's why it's important to sack the bishop first. Now there's no pawn on h2. So now if you play king f1 or king h1, knight g3 check wins your queen. On the other hand, if you play king f3, queen g3 is mate. And this also loses your queen, and now it says that black's actually winning. Black has a winning attack against the white king. Okay, so he played king f1, which is correct. And now we have a situation where white has a rook and 2 pieces for a queen, and a rook and 2 pieces is better than a queen, but because white has no development and white's king is exposed, black is able to draw. Black accurately played bishop g4, takes the knight, and then gives perpetual. The queen attacks the bishop. The bishop has to be defended. And then we just check the king forever. And draw by reputation. So excellent game from both players. Probably, if they play the line again, white can do some kind of improvement between moves 18 and 23 and get an advantage. And maybe because of that, if this line is played again, Jan will do something earlier as a novelty. But I think we'll see this line again, maybe not in this tournament, and somebody's going to play a novelty around move 20, and black will either equalize easier or white will get an advantage. But my take on the game is Hikaru had better preparation than Jan. Hikaru was better. Hikaru didn't see bishop takes g3, and after that it was just a draw. But very well played game, very high level, and Jan is in clear first with +2. Fabiano and Gukesh are +1, and in the women's, Ten Zhangyi is in first with +3, and Alexander Gorachkina is in second with +2. And that's the recap of the first half. Today's a rest day. There's 7 more days. And on Monday, April 15th, the women's round and the women's candidates, I'll be doing live commentary with Daniel Naroditsky on the chess.com Twitch and YouTube pages. So far, I've done 2 rounds with Yovi Hauska, and now I'm going to do one with Naroditsky. And if somebody can't do it one day in an emergency, I'll fill in if necessary. And as you all know, between April 18th and 22nd, I'll actually be at the candidates just hanging out. I'm just going to be watching a spectator like everybody else. And I'll watch the last 3 rounds, so I'll get to see in person what happens. Anyway, I hope you liked that recap. I think I did a good job. And if you didn't like it, then too bad. Rawr!